Let me tell you something, baby girl, everybody talking about this no contact rule like it's the secret sauce. Like soon as you stop talking to that man, he gonna wake up one morning and say, Lord, I can't live without her. But let me drop the truth on you. No contact is not enough. Silence alone don't make a man realize your worth. Words. It's what you do in that silence that shakes his spirit, that makes him feel you even when you ain't nowhere around. See, you think you're playing the game by going quiet, but he's seen quiet before. Words. He's dealt with silence from women who were mad for a minute, from women who said, I'm done, and came right back when he blinked twice. That kind of silence don't scare a man, it comforts him. Words, because he knows it ain't permanent. But when you move different, when your silence comes with peace, progress, and power, oh, that's when he starts pacing. That's when he starts thinking, hold on now, she ain't acting like the others. No contact by itself is like hanging up the phone but leaving the line open. You ain't talking, but you still connected in energy and thought, in attention. But when you detach, when you stop feeding him your emotions, your energy, your curiosity, that's when he feels the real emptiness. Words. That's when it hits him that he don't just miss your voice, he missed the version of himself he could only be when you were around. Let me paint this picture for you, because I know you've been there. You sitting in bed, looking at your phone, fighting that urge to check his story to see if he online, to peek at who he following now. That's the moment right there where most women lose their power. Words. But if you can win that battle, if you can hold that ground, that's when everything changes. That's when the shift happens. You stop looking for him and you start looking at you. Words. Now, don't get me wrong. This ain't about playing games or acting cold. This is about transformation. Words. This is about taking that same energy you used to pour into him and pouring it back into yourself. You want to make him feel your absence. Then become somebody you don't recognize anymore. Words. Elevate so high he got to look up to see you. The version of you that cried, begged, waited, she's gone. The woman who's walking in her peace, in her confidence, words. In her glow, that's who he gon' miss. See, a man don't miss what's around him, he miss what's unavailable. He don't chase what's easy, he chase what's evolved. Words, you got to become the woman who ain't just absent, she's transformed. And transformation ain't quiet, even when you are. You could be silent, but your growth makes noise. Words. It echoes through everything. Your smile, your presence, your posture, your peace. That's the kind of silence that haunts a man's thoughts. Let me tell you what happens next. He'll start wondering. He'll start replaying old moments, thinking, she used to text me around this time. He gone scroll through them old messages. Maybe even laugh at an old joke y'all shared. Words. But when he sees you ain't reaching out, ain't begging, ain't posting sad quotes or indirects, he gon' feel it. He gon' say, hold up, words. Did she really move on? And that's when the panic hits. Because men don't realize what they had until they see what they lost ain't waiting for them anymore. Words. The power ain't in no contact. It's in evolution. It's in the way you rebuild your world without him at the center. You stop orbiting around his attention and start standing in your own light. Words, you want to make him feel it. Then show him he didn't break you. He built the woman who don't need him no more. Let me tell you something real. When a man sees that glow, that peace, that upgrade, words, he starts hurting in places he didn't know could hurt, because he remembers how you used to look at him, how you used to care, how you used to make him feel like he mattered. And now, words. You walking around like your world didn't collapse when he left. That right there. That's the pain that makes him rethink everything. You see, you can't teach a man your worth with words. Words. You teach him with absence, but more importantly, with evolution. No contact is step one. Becoming unreachable is step two. You stop answering calls, stop checking his pages, stop posting things for him to see. But most of all, you stop waiting. You start living. You start pouring into your body, your career, your friendships, your peace. You start laughing again Wards, dressing up again, dreaming again. You start creating a life so full that even you forget you were ever broken. And that's when he feel it. Wards. That's when that man's world starts getting quiet. Because the woman who used to bring light ain't there no more. Now listen, he gon' test the waters. He gon' send that, hey, stranger text. Wards. That lazy, half-effort message just to see if the door's still open. Don't fall for that. That ain't love. That's curiosity. That's his ego checking your temperature. But when you reply with peace, wards, not emotion, when you show him his absence didn't destroy you, that's when he realizes you were the blessing he mishandled. Ain't nothing louder than a woman who stopped trying. Wards. Ain't nothing more powerful than a woman who stopped explaining. When you stop trying to prove your worth, you become the proof. You want to know what really makes a man reach out first. Wards. It's not your silence, it's your shift. It's when you go from needing him to remembering who you were before him. When you start walking different, talking different, thinking different. It's when you stop posting for validation and start moving in gratitude. He gonna feel that. He gonna see that light and wonder, wards. How she do that without me? But let me warn you, don't do this just to get him back. Do it because you finally realized you were never supposed to chase someone who didn't choose you right. Wards, you were supposed to choose yourself, heal yourself, and glow so hard that anyone who doubted your value feels it in their chest. No contact is not enough, baby. You got to make peace your revenge. Wards, you got to make growth your response. You got to make silence your new standard. Stop explaining to people who show they can't hear you. Stop fighting for folks who already gave up. When you stop trying to make them see your value, you finally make room for the ones who do. And that's the beauty of it. Once you reach that level of peace, you don't even want the apology anymore. Wards, you don't even crave the message, because the closure comes when you realize you ain't broken. You just outgrew the place you were begging to stay in. Now let's talk about the aftershock. Wards, that moment weeks later when he starts really feeling it. See, at first, he thought your silence was a break. He thought you'd come back once you cooled off. But then the days turned into weeks, rewards, and the weeks turned into that long stretch of emptiness where he can't feel your spirit no more. That's when the storm hits him. He goes out with his boys, laughs at jokes that don't land the same, wards, stares at his phone wondering who replaced him in your notifications. He'll look at a picture of you smiling and wonder if that smile still belongs to him. Wards. And every time he scrolls by your page and sees you living, seeing that piece on your face that he didn't give you, oh, that's when he starts realizing silence ain't punishment, it's distance. Wards. And distance hurts when you were the comfort. See, a man can ignore your tears, but he can't ignore your transformation. He can overlook your words, but he can't overlook your glow. Wards. You become a reminder of what he could have had if he had only grown with you. That's why you don't chase him. You let time and truth do what your words never could. Now hear me clearly. Don't be that woman who waits on the comeback. Be the woman who keeps walking. 'Cause if he ever circles back, it should take him a map, a prayer, wards, and a miracle to find you at that level you've reached. You should be so far gone in your purpose, he got to reintroduce himself just to talk to you. Wards. Let me tell you something I've learned about men. We feel the loss not when you leave, but when you stop needing us. When you stop asking, stop explaining, stop caring. That's when we start realizing what we lost. That's why I say no contact ain't enough. You got to combine it with peace, power, and progression. Wards, silence without growth is just stubbornness. But silence with self-respect. That's strength, girl. You got to shift your energy. Instead of waiting for him to reach out, reach inward. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What did I ignore? What did I settle for? Because when you face those truths, you stop repeating that same love cycle with different faces. That's how you evolve. Rewards. That's how you make sure the next man got to come correct, because you ain't going back to broke energy. Now you might ask, but will he ever feel it for real? Oh, yes, he will. Wards. He'll feel it late at night when the noise dies down, when the crowd's gone, and the only voice he hears is the one he let go. He'll remember how you laughed at his dumb jokes, wards, how you believed in his dreams when he barely believed in himself. He'll remember how your energy used to calm his chaos. And when he sees that you gave that peace to yourself instead, wards, it'll sting deeper than any argument you ever had. You see, men get curious when you move on, but they get convicted when you elevate. When you start attracting better energy, better friends, wards, better blessings, that's when he realizes he was a chapter, not the whole book. And sometimes God will let that man watch your upgrade just to show him what he mishandled, wards. But don't you ever dim that light to make him comfortable again. Don't shrink so he can feel tall. Don't play small just 'cause he can't match your new version, wards. If he couldn't meet you in your softness, he definitely ain't ready for your strength. Now let's talk about you, the woman who had to rebuild. You cried in silence, but you healed loud through your actions. You showed up for yourself when nobody clapped. You turned pain into fuel. You went from, why did this happen? To, thank God it did, because if he hadn't walked out, you would have never walked into your power. You see, heartbreak is a mirror, wards. It shows you what you've been ignoring. It shows you your patterns, your needs, your strength. And once you see yourself clear, you can't go back to the blurred version, wards. That's why he'll never get the same you again. Even if he comes back, he gonna find peace where there used to be pain, and peace don't negotiate. He'll text you one night, hey, been thinking about you. But your spirit won't even flinch. 'Cause when you heal, your heart don't race for what's behind you. It beats steady for what's ahead. And that's the ultimate lesson, wards. No contact starts the silence, but self-respect keeps it. You keep building, you keep shining, you keep loving yourself so loudly that no man ever gets to question your value again. You become the woman whose energy introduces her before she speaks. The woman who don't chase closure because she became the closure. And baby, wards, when that man finally sees the version of you he prayed would never exist without him, that's when he feels it. That's when his soul says, I messed up. He'll reach out, wards, not because he suddenly grew up overnight, but because your absence forced him to face his own emptiness. But by then, you'll be too full to be tempted by half-hearted love. So let him feel it. Let him wonder. Let him scroll, let him stare, let him replay every conversation trying to find where it went wrong. You don't owe him a map back to you. You owe yourself the peace you fought for, wards. No contact ain't enough. You gotta live like you mean it. Wake up every day and choose joy over bitterness, gratitude over revenge, peace over pain. You gotta turn every lesson into confidence, wards. You gotta be so focused on your purpose that when he finally calls, you ain't even got time to answer. Not out of pride, but out of peace. Remember this, the goal ain't to make him miss you. The goal is to make yourself proud. The goal is to walk so fully in your worth that love finds you on your level, not beneath it. So the next time somebody tells you, just go no contact, smile and say, wards, no baby, I'm going beyond that. I'm going healed. I'm going peaceful. I'm going unstoppable. 'Cause silence can stop a conversation, but transformation stops the patterns. And that's the real power. That's how you make him feel it, not in his phone, but in his soul. So keep your head high, keep your heart clean, keep your energy sacred, wards. The one who's meant for you will recognize your silence not as distance, but as direction. And when that day comes, you won't be looking back, wards, because you'll be too busy living in everything you prayed for. People keep thinking no contact is the power move, like silence itself gone make somebody wake up and come running. But that ain't real power. Real power ain't in what you stop doing. It's in what you start becoming. It's in transformation, because no contact without growth is just quiet pain, wards. It's sitting in the dark hoping somebody knocks on the door, but transformation, that's you building a whole new house so you don't need the same knock ever again. That's the difference. That's the elevation. You see, anybody can go silent, block a number, delete a message, but not everybody can rise up and rebuild their spirit. Not everybody can turn heartbreak into focus. Words. Not everybody can stand up and say, I ain't chasing nobody, I'm chasing my purpose. And that's where the real power starts breathing. You think no contact means control, but truth is, words, control don't come from silence, it comes from strength. It comes from that quiet confidence that says, I'm done explaining, I'm done waiting, I'm done shrinking, I'm moving forward. Words. I'm transforming. See, transformation ain't about showing off. It's about growing up. It's about facing the parts of you that begged, that cried, that settled, and saying, I love her. Words. But I'm not her anymore. I learned my lessons. I took my losses, and I turned them into wisdom, and that wisdom is what glows. That's what people feel even when you say nothing. Words. No contact will make somebody curious, but transformation will make them convicted. No contact might make him wonder what you're doing, but transformation will make him realize what he lost. Words. Because when you start changing your energy, your walk, your confidence, you stop looking like somebody who's waiting to be chosen. You start looking like somebody who already chose herself. Words. And that hits different, that stings the ego, that confuses the mind, that shakes the soul. People always ask, should I post this so he sees what he's missing? And I tell them, baby, words. When you truly transform, you don't gotta post nothing. Your energy speaks louder than any selfie ever could. It's the way you carry yourself now, the way you talk, words, the way you enter a room, and it feels lighter cause your spirit's finally free. That's what makes people turn heads. That's what makes that man think twice, not your silence, but your shine. Words. And transformation don't come easy. It hurts before it heals. You gon' cry. You gon' miss him. You gon' have days where you feel like calling. But every time you choose yourself instead, words, you build a new version of you, stronger, wiser, calmer. And that's the woman he gon' feel in his absence. That's the energy that lingers long after your goodbye. Words. That's the echo that keeps him up at night. Because now he realizes you were never just another girl. You were growth disguised as love. And he couldn't handle the assignment. See, words, no contact stops the noise. But transformation changes the music. And baby, once you start dancing to your own rhythm again, you never go back to begging for a song. Words. You stop craving attention because you become the attention. You stop hoping for validation because your peace becomes your applause. That's the kind of energy that don't chase. It attracts. Words. That's the kind of power that don't shout. It whispers confidence in every move you make. You got to understand, transformation ain't for him. It's for you. Words, because you can't make somebody value you by disappearing. You make them value you by evolving, by turning into the version they only dreamed of. Rewards. By showing what it looks like when pain becomes purpose. That's what makes people stop in their tracks. Not your absence, but your progress. When you transform, you stop negotiating your worth. Words. You stop accepting half effort. You stop saying, it's okay. When it ain't, and that new boundary, that new peace, it glows. People can feel it from a mile away, and it demands respect without a word. Words, that's what transformation does. It upgrades your energy so much that anybody from your past gotta either level up or fall away. There's something magnetic about a woman who found herself again. Words. It's not about makeup or clothes or captions. It's about that calm look in her eyes that says, I've been through it, but I made it, I broke, but I built again, I loved, but now I love myself more. Rewards. And that's when the whole world starts responding different. That's when doors open. That's when peace follows you wherever you go. And that's when that man, the one you thought you needed, starts feeling it. Because transformation don't announce itself. It reveals itself in silence. No contact says, I'm done talking. But transformation says, I'm done waiting. No contact says, I need space, but transformation says, I found purpose, and once purpose walks in, pain loses its power, confusion loses its grip, and fear loses its voice. That's why transformation is the real move. Words. Not withdrawal, not distance, but development. You can't punish somebody into realizing your value. You can only inspire them by living in it. You can't make somebody regret losing you with silence. Words. You make them regret it when they see how unstoppable you became without them. And that's what transformation does. It flips the script. It turns what hurt you into what healed you. And let's be honest, wards, the reason no contact feels powerful at first is because it gives you space to breathe. But if you spend that space checking his page, wondering if he's thinking about you, you still tied to him, you still handing over your peace, transformation breaks the tie. It turns curiosity into clarity. It says, I don't need to know what he's doing. I need to know who I'm becoming, wards. And when you focus on that, your glow becomes unmatchable. That's the kind of shift people feel before they see. That's the kind of growth that can't be faked. It's in your energy, your laughter, wards, your discipline, your peace. You stop explaining your silence because your life speaks for you now, wards. You stop waiting for somebody to miss you because you're too busy loving the woman you're finally meeting in the mirror. Transformation ain't overnight. It's daily, wards. It's small choices that rebuild your confidence. It's waking up early and praying instead of scrolling. It's eating, right? Reading, working, smiling, forgiving, wards. It's little things that tell your spirit we moving forward. We ain't going back. And one day you look up and realize you don't even want the text anymore. You don't want closure. You got peace, rewards. And that's better than any apology could ever be. When you reach that level, that's when the tables turn. That's when he remembers the version of you that adored him. And he can't find her, wards, because she grew wings, she outgrew the cage of waiting, and now he's facing the empty space where your light used to be, and that's silence. It don't scare him, it humbles him, wards, because he realizes you were never trying to control him, you were trying to love him, but now you finally love yourself more, and that's the power he can't touch. Transformation ain't revenge, it's release, wards. It's saying, I forgive you, but I'm still moving forward. I release you, but I remember the lesson. I bless you, but I protect my peace. And that's grown woman energy. That's power no one can take. Wards, that's when no contact turns into no comparison, because there's nothing left to prove. So stop thinking silence alone is strength. Start understanding silence with purpose is transformation. Wards, the goal ain't to make him chase. The goal is to make yourself proud, to become so aligned that the right things find you naturally and the wrong ones fade without force. That's what real growth feels like, wards. It don't beg, it don't boast. It just becomes, it just rises. Every time you choose peace over reaction, every time you choose focus over fear, every time you choose you transform a little more, wards. And before you know it, you're not the woman who needed closure. You're the woman who is closure. You're not the woman who waited for love. You're the woman who became love. And that, baby, wards, is real power. That's the kind of power no contact can't give. But transformation can. Silence hurts him, but your evolution haunts him. See, a man can deal with your silence for a while, wards. He can handle the quiet, the no calls, the no messages, the cold air you give him when you finally say, I'm done. But what he can't handle is seeing you become somebody he can't reach anymore. Rewards. When a woman goes silent, it stings his ego, but when she evolves, it wounds his pride. Because silence is temporary, evolution is permanent. Silence says you're gone, evolution says you've grown. Wards. Silence fades, but growth echoes. And when you rise into a version of yourself he never believed you could be, that's when he realizes he didn't lose your voice. He lost his chance at your world. See, wards, a man thinks when you stop talking, he's got time. He thinks you'll come back, that you're just mad, that you'll cool off. He thinks you're still the same woman waiting for him to get it right. Wards. But the moment you start glowing different, walking different, thinking different, living different, that's when his world starts to shake. Because he thought you were still stuck in the silence. Wards. He didn't know that while he was out there playing games, you were out here building peace. He didn't know you were healing in quiet. Wards. He didn't know you were learning to love yourself louder than he ever loved you. And when you do that, when your peace gets louder than his presence ever was, wards, that's when he feels the ghost of what he threw away. You see, silence will make him miss you, but your evolution will make him respect you. Silence is absence. Evolution is transformation. Words. And transformation makes him look back and say, I didn't just lose her. I lost something I'll never find again. When you evolve, you stop chasing closure because your growth gives it to you. Rewards. You stop asking why because your peace becomes the answer. You stop needing his apology because your evolution becomes your healing. That's the kind of power that doesn't scream, it doesn't post words, it doesn't beg. It just becomes. A woman who evolves doesn't sit around trying to prove a point. She is the point. She doesn't go online to show him she's moved on. Her glow speaks louder than any caption. Her energy changes rooms before she even walks in. She laughs lighter, sleeps deeper, loves slower, chooses wiser. She stops performing for people who never clapped for her. That kind of evolution makes him look twice. It makes him replay old memories, reread old messages, scroll through old pictures. But no matter how many times he looks, he won't find the woman he knew. Because that woman doesn't exist anymore. She was the seed. You are the flower. And he didn't water you. So now he has to watch you bloom in someone else's light. That's what haunts a man. Not the silence. Not the blocking. Not the ignoring. What haunts him is when he realizes you no longer move for him. Words. You no longer care what he thinks. You no longer give him the emotional reaction that used to feed his ego. He's used to control through emotion. When you cry, he wins. When you argue, he wins. When you chase words, he wins. But when you evolve, he loses. Because now you've taken your power back from the place he was using it against you. You've learned to give yourself the validation he used to hold over your head. Rewards, and that's when he starts to crumble. Because now he's irrelevant to your peace. See, a man can handle losing your attention, but he can't handle losing his importance in your life. Words. The moment you start to thrive without him, it forces him to confront the truth. He was never the source of your happiness. He was just a chapter in your growth. And that truth breaks something in him. Words. Because he thought he was irreplaceable. He thought you couldn't breathe without him. But now you're out here living, laughing, loving, and leveling up in ways he can't even stand next to. Words. That's what makes him call you out the blue, text you with those old lines, show up pretending he's changed, but don't be fooled. That's not love. That's fear. Fear of your evolution. Words. Fear of seeing you become the woman he prayed would wait and realizing she finally learned not to. Every time he sees you doing better, there's a storm in his mind. He'll start to question everything. Words, was I the problem? Did I mess up something real? Why does she look happier now than she ever did with me? And deep down he knows, because he remembers the nights you cried, the times you begged for his effort, words, the chances you gave that he wasted. And now when he sees you smiling without him, it burns his soul a little. That's evolution. It's not revenge, it's revelation. It's showing him that the version of you he mishandled was the one sent to help him grow. But he treated you like a game. Now, words. The universe is showing him the consequence, watching you turn into the woman he'll never get back. Your evolution isn't loud, it's intentional. You start dressing for yourself, not for his compliments. Words. You start healing for peace, not for proof. You start loving yourself without needing permission. And that confuses him because he thought the power was in his hands, but it was always in your heart. Words. And when you finally understand that, you stop chasing and start choosing. You stop reacting and start rising. You stop waiting for him to see your value and start living like you already know it. Words. That's when your energy shifts from needing to knowing. That's when the tables turn because he can't handle that version of you. He can't negotiate with confidence. He can't manipulate peace. Words. He can't argue with growth. He's haunted by your glow because it reminds him of what he wasted. Every smile you post is a reminder of what he broke. Words. Every laugh you share is proof that his absence didn't kill you. Every success you celebrate is evidence that you were never dependent on him. He watches even if he never admits it. He notices words even if he never says it. And every time he sees you shining, a part of his ego dies. Because he realizes that while he was out there looking for better, you became it. Words. That's why evolution is stronger than silence. Silence ends a chapter, but evolution rewrites the whole book. Silence might make him call, but evolution makes him regret. Silence makes him curious, but evolution makes him humble. And there's no coming back from that, because once a woman evolves, she can't go back to who she was. Once she sees what peace feels like, she can't settle for chaos. Wards, once she learns that her love was a gift, she stops handing it out like a discount. That's growth. That's evolution. That's power. So keep your silence, yes, but build in that silence. Wards, heal in that silence. Glow in that silence, because it's not the quiet that changes the game. It's what you do while it's quiet. Read, learn, rest, pray, grow, move, create. Build your empire. Find your joy. Love yourself. Because when he finally looks up and sees the woman you became, he won't just miss you, he'll mourn you. He'll mourn the woman who loved him without limits. He'll mourn the peace he never appreciated. He'll mourn the loyalty he played with. But by then, you'll be too far gone, too evolved. Wards, too focused on your own light to ever go back to being the shadow of somebody else's immaturity. That's what haunts him. That's what keeps him up at night. Not your silence, but your strength. Wards, not your distance, but your direction. Not your absence, but your evolution. Because silence can be ignored, but growth cannot. You can block a number, wards, but you can't block an energy that's glowing on a higher level. You can ignore a call, but you can't ignore the universe showing you what peace looks like. And once you taste peace, rewards, you never crave chaos again. That's what truly makes a man feel it deep down. Not your silence, but your evolution. Because nothing is louder than a woman who finally chose herself.